And we're live.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
God, I just hate their little illustration underneath Save the Creepypastas.
Yes, so do I.
Hey, Cameron.
Oh, hello, Cameron. How are you? Um, what did we do exactly last time?
We went in alphabetical order, and we were gonna read Because of You, but then we got distracted. We were just kind of ended up shooting the shit, and then we decided we would take it up from there this time.
Which category were we into?
Oh, computers and the internet.
That's right. Just messing around in World of Warcraft. Really. You better not be leveling without me, lad. Or I will. I don't know. I can't keep up this joke right now. I got nothing.
Is the thumbnail of this video?
Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, why?
Because I couldn't find anything else. I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't realize what time it was until I glanced at the phone. I've just been busy watching The Nanny.
Professional.
Yes,
Is the super nanny or just the regular nanny?
The Nanny. The Nanny named
Okay.
Fran.
Because existence of nanny implies the existence of a non-super nanny, the normal nanny. Is asking all the deep questions here.
I mean, that's like too much for me to compute right now.
Yeah. You should hire me. You should
Hello,
come with some
Jamie.
very deep theories. So hi, Jamie.
Just woke up. Something creepypasta. Something Danny DeVito. Uh, the thing that stops you from gaining experience. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what that is, but cool.
It's gonna be wangsty. I can tell.
What?
The story. It's gonna be wangsty.
Which one are we gonna read this time?
I
Start
too
things
like
off.
to make up words.
TV tropes. Fucking term genius.
Which story are you referring to?
What was that, Raptor?
Story are you referring to?
I don't know. Should we just get started and let people trickle in as they
Yeah, sounds good.
do?
Yeah, this one is mercifully short, it seems.
Do you want me to take it?
I'll start off. Because of you, that's apparently a sentence. There is nothing that I don't feel guilty for, nothing at all. It is all buried in my mind, and will be there until the day I die. The horror of what I did to them cannot be erased nor changed. What are you talking about? I was the one driving. We were just coming back from a party. It was my 4 friends, Mark, Tim, Sophia, Andrew, and I in the car.
You have no friends.
Yeah,
Who is this mysterious you all referring to?
yeah. This is just already just their delusion. Like, I had friends, but even in my fantasies, I killed them all.
Because friends are cringe, cringe according to serial killers.
I wasn't paying enough
I guess
attention, so when the
creepypasta
corner came up,
serial killers.
I hit the brakes, but they didn't work. And the rest I do not remember.
It's your fault then. Why are you blaming this mysterious you person?
Yeah,
Unless you know for a fact this person cut your brakes.
yeah, and actually,
In
Raptor,
which case, why would you have driven?
yeah, that's a good point, though, Raptor. Like, the Y is capitalized, like it's someone's name.
Maybe he's talking to God.
Oh, God,
So,
no.
is this a person? It's a person whose name is you, as in you Goldberg.
Okay, biting my tongue right now. I remember waking up in the hospital, the smell of the disinfectant they used, and hearing the screams of joy from my family. I was awoke. Okay, please rewrite that sentence. It was 3 days
You
from.
read it wrong. As I awoke.
No, that's what I read.
It didn't sound like it to me.
It was 3 days from that point that they told me what happened that night. The passengers in the car were dead. Yeah, we established that. We had hit a tree, and I was the only one to survive. When they told me that, it felt as if knives were stabbing me in the gut. It only seemed like a few nights ago I was with them. In reality, I had been in a coma for 18 days.
Not to split hairs, but that it
We are
is
in a
kind of a
coma.
few nights ago when you think about it.
Yeah. Wait,
It's only a couple weeks.
It was 3 days from the point that they told me. Did they mean to say 3 weeks or something?
3 days from that point that he woke up. Or she. I don't fucking care.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it now. Uh, they misspelled Hugh. Let's go with that theory. Because of Hugh.
Because of Hugh Neutron. Huh.
I don't know what that is.
Never watched Jimmy Neutron?
No, that was a little beyond, like after my time.
Remember, Raptor, man, we're talking to a boomer here.
Yeah, like
Okay,
that.
so all you need to know is that Hugh is Jimmy's father, and he is the best character by far.
Okay, I know Jimmy's father.
Yeah, that's his name, Hugh Neutron.
Okay. I do not expect you to understand what the feeling is like when you miss your friend's funerals.
And neither do you, teenager who's writing this.
Yeah. I do not expect you to know what it is like to have killed your friends.
Wow, this would be really triggering to anyone who may have actually caused
Yeah,
a
I,
drunk driving accident.
yeah. I mean, I this is the second time in history I might actually have to put a trigger warning on in a stream description.
Third,
Third,
we did a trigger warning for claustrophobic images in Ted the Caver.
oh yeah, I don't think I actually put it in the description. I might have.
We did mention it though.
Yeah, they misspelled humongous. Oh, if it were that guy, then I'm proud of him. Um, uh,
The police.
yeah, the police had told me that it was mechanical error that caused the crash. I don't agree with that. I took my eyes off the road. I might have been able to correct it. I mean, you're wrong. I
Yeah,
remember on
you
my
can't unless you can immediately fix a mechanical error from your driver's seat.
yeah, or if you can somehow prove that they're wrong. But it's just I have a feeling no that doesn't trump the idea of mechanical failure. I remember on my last night in the hospital, I heard a whisper, not loud. Well, yeah, a whisper implies that it's quiet. It was barely audible out of the 4 or 5 words that were said. I only heard one. You. As I turned to where I had heard the voice coming from, I thought I saw a shadow sprint across the room. Okay, so you saw it was a shadow that was like literally a person sprinting. I tried in vain to stay awake, but
Shadow the
eventually.
Hedgehog. Haha.
Oh no!
Hey.
But eventually the darkness enclosed me and I slept. The next day, I asked doctors about what happened, and they told me that it could be from the injuries I had gained from the crash, and not to think much. The injuries I gained, shouldn't you be saying that I suffered? It's like, oh, it's like
You're
what did the,
talking about kids who write this shit. Do you really think their vocabulary is that broad yet?
I mean, I expect them to try. I'm just
You know, your
picturing,
expectations are too high.
I just imagined Link, like, Kid Link digging through a treasure chest, stands up, da-na-na-na, you got concussion. Uh, just to get the rest and make sure I stay hydrated, and eventually they will go away.
You think it'd be less from the injuries and more from the copious amounts of morphine you're probably on to
Yeah,
from your injuries and all your pain meds.
they're Magneto, didn't you know? They should have been able to move the car with their brain. Yeah, serious. Uh, you want to take the rest?
Fine. When I finally got home, I felt comfortable and decided to check out my Facebook page. Up here with my favorite thing in fiction, name dropping shit that dates it terribly. I had 42
He's like, let me
messages, you
follow
so did
my
not.
Facebook
Most of them
page.
were abuse due to
Killer.
what had happened, although some of the people had also sent
So
apologies for
funny.
what I was going through and tried to be empathetic. I was just about to log off, but a message came up. It was from Andrew. I took a deep breath and had a look at the message. It simply said, "Because of you, I am dead." I yelled for my dad, and he rushed in. He saw the message. He cursed and went off his head about how much Andrew's dad couldn't deal with Andrew's death, and clearly he was trying to scare me. Probably not scare you, but
Like, make you
probably
feel
make you feel
guilty.
like shit. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the best explanation for it. Or maybe a girlfriend, a sibling, probably someone petty enough to do something like that. Or not petty, but young enough who doesn't have the foresight that would actually be very upsetting to someone who already carries their guilt.
Yes, just someone still angry about the whole thing.
It never went away. It stuck with me. It never went away. If scaring me was his intention, he did a damn good job of it. a sick joke, but I understand why he did it to everyone but the police. It was my fault.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, these things get reported on in the towns where they take place. If the police say it was mechanical error, people would know.
Yeah.
There's investigations into these things.
And
I know. When I was in high school, a very terrible drunk driving incident, which included a friend of a close childhood friend of mine. And there was a whole bunch of investigations. The driver, while he did receive, the punishments he needed to for being for being not only under the age of legal drinking age, but driving, he received the punishment when one of their friends died.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of research to actually see what the results of these kind of incidents are.
Yeah, exactly.
It was days before anything happened again. I was walking to the Servo, Australian slang for gas station, to go get a Coke. There was something watching
God,
me. I
an
couldn't see.
Australian. Whinge.
Who cares? Why is that
Whinge.
cringe?
Oh no.
I love like the second it took you to be like, wait, what?
Raptor, you're just racist. Like, even in the weirdest.
Australians are not a race.
It's just, well, what else would you call it?
Xenophobic?
I don't know. Whatever it is, Raptor, you just pick the
Kenzie, you're forgetting
weirdest
one.
groups to be biased towards.
Kenzie, you're forgetting one crucial thing. I'm a gamer.
Yeah.
As we all know, a gamer is a synonym for racist. Look at the Webster's dictionary. It's true.
Yeah, well, by insulting Australians, you insult Steve Irwin and Aussie Man reviews, and for that, you're grounded.
Aww.
Yeah, bet you feel bad now, huh?
I gotta say though, if this is really in Australia, why has there not been a single mention of a kangaroo?
Okay. There was something watching me. I couldn't see it at first, but I could feel it. I was filled with a coldness. I didn't know what it was. It was a coldness.
Yeah.
My shoulders felt the
kangaroo.
coldness the worst. What does that have to do with anything? I realized it was a hand.
Australian.
I turned around to punch it, but there was no one there. The only person was on the other side of the road. They looked familiar. I noticed who it was. It was Sophia. She pointed and screamed at me as blood dripped from her mouth. I froze. I didn't know what to do. Then she vanished. The sentence
What?
structure in this story is so weird.
Yeah, and Tabby says it's just Creepypasta Bushworld Adventures.
I wish I had died. I was trying to sleep that night. All I could hear was whispers until there was a high-pitched whisper. High-pitched whisper. I woke up, but I didn't dare get out of bed. There they all were, Tim, Sophia, Andrew, and Mark. They looked normal until Andrew looked at me and said, "Because of you, I am dead." He then proceeded to pull shards of glass out of his face, blood gushing out of the wounds, but there wasn't screams from him, only laughter, and that was all. Then, once again, they disappeared. It was my fault they died. So, as the Bible says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
That doesn't apply!
And then Jack was found in his room. This was the last thing he wrote before he killed himself. Six shards of glass were found on his bed. Well, where'd he get the shards of glass from?
I mean, like after the ghost came out, he just began to write this down, and he goes for and it goes for basically like,
or is it like, did they show up?
"Boy,
Are
you finished here? You were supposed to kill yourself 5 hours ago." Hang on, Jack. No, Mark, I'm trying to write my final words. Okay, just give me a minute.
It was like, "G'day, mate. I know you're here to kill me, but let me write down my story first, mate."
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for.
Cameron,
That's my idea for this.
Cameron said, "This can't be in Australia. There's no shrimps on the Barbie." Probably a coldness because of the spider bite. You think they'd build up an immunity at this point? Pretty shit last words. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was bad and just plain pretty insensitive to shit that actually this shot.
Yeah. Oh my god. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like the author has gotten negative feedback about this, so they pulled like a clockwork and
And
just
aren't
said
I
like,
such a nice guy by taking the blame on my shoulders and killing myself, even though it was not technically my
no,
fault or
they took a
responsibility that this happened, even though I just
they,
happened to be the one driving.
okay,
What?
next story.
Being hunted.
Journal.
Huh? So the creator, whatever that is, content is available under CCBY. What? What the
Creative
fuck
Creative
is
Commons.
Commons.
this?
CreativeCommons.org. Okay, who cares?
Whatever.
Author's note. I kind of wrote this on a whim, and I realize it's not all that scary given the somewhat near future setting. Any thoughts on how to improve it?
Delete it.
Yeah.
All right, if you're gonna read it in that, not only in that voice, but in that tempo, I'm taking this one.
No, I'm not reading the story like that.
Good. It given the
What?
somewhat near future setting, so over 40 years.
Yeah, do you realize how much can change in that time? Insensitivity is scary than the the Jackbox Party Pack games are masterpieces of horror. I don't know what those are.
No one said the insensitivity was scary. It's just that it's a problem with the story. And that it's not scary. All right, I'll start off. March 22, 2063. Being hunted. I'm writing this blog. What?
2063. That's 60 years away
No!
from 2069. 69.
Are we done?
Never.
I'm writing this blog, 1, to share my story, and 2, to warn against the dangers of today's Internet of Things.
Internet of
This guy's a
Things.
boomer.
Again.
I
Boomer
was
alert,
one
guys.
of those
Boomer
guys
alert.
who.
No,
One of
I'm
the.
not over this. Internet of Things. Capitalized like it's an actual concept that people talk about.
This had to be like. This is Norman Bhutan's brother. This can only be written by someone that old.
It's getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Norman Bhutan.
I was one of those guys who would joke around with the concept of cybercrime all the time. I've
What?
since realized that cybercrime is a serious issue. I mean, these are real people doing real damage. No shit.
Pretty
Wow.
sure,
Crime
pretty
has.
sure me probably in an episode of some
Wow.
TV show is not good in anybody, to be honest.
Crime affects people who have been either robbed or whatever. Who'da thunk? It all started when I.
The piracy.
God, I
Piracy
hate.
is not a crime.
It all started. I fucking hate that. When I came home early
Piracy
from
is
work
not a
one
crime.
day,
Just saying.
I was
Okay, I'm done.
actually supposed to take the day off, but had set the wrong date on my phone's. Who cares? I only found out when my boss walked past my cubicle and reminded me that I wasn't supposed to be there. This is pointless. You may find it strange that vacation be mandatory at my job. That's not strange.
That's
But
normal.
having employees working 7 days a week all the time really hurts the company image. That's illegal. And no, we don't normally get weekends off, but it pays the bills at least. This is like what some guy. This is totally just what some kid
Yeah,
has overheard about, like his parents talking, but doesn't really get what jobs entail.
Yeah, like he probably doesn't realize that. Like, oh, Dad works 7 days a week. Yeah, you don't realize he's picking up overtime. Yeah,
Anyway, I got to my
probably to
house at
get a Disney World or something.
Dog. Eli.
Anyway, I got to my house at around 8, parked my car backwards just in case I felt like going out later that night, and went inside. What is this bullshit? I decided it was high time I had a nice dinner for a change. I took out some steak from the freezer, put it on the defroster for a few minutes, then turned on the oven and left it cooking. Threw myself
What?
onto the couch and powered up my TV. Of course, a full night off work meant this was the perfect opportunity to catch up on my favorite series, Being Hunted.
What
However,
is
when I
this?
However, when I opened my TV's Netflix app, because Netflix will totally not be obsolete in 40 years, and that
Yeah.
will probably have something way better. I noticed something strange. The interface was a bit different. The Netflix logo was now on the left side. Why is this in the future?
Okay, it also, this just sounds like, okay, they did an update.
Rather than centered, and it hadn't logged me in automatically. I figured Netflix had auto updated again, which reminds me I need to write a strongly worded letter to Sony about their update policy. Yeah, here's something very scary that happened and strange that happened to me, which reminds me I really need to write a message to Sony
you know what
because they'll
Sony,
take it.
you know what they
Sony
do with
own
that?
Netflix.
They print those out and say, oh, good, we were getting short on toilet paper.
So I went into the login page and tried logging in. Username or password incorrect, it said. After trying several different username and password combinations, I got the idea that this might be prompting me to log into my home server. This was odd. I didn't see any reason for a streaming app to need access to all of the house devices, but a multi-billion-dollar company like Netflix couldn't do harm, right?
Cameron
so
says,
I put
steak
the
in the oven, that's new to me.
So I put in the username and password to my home server. The usual welcome to Netflix text appeared and stayed there for a while. I waited for a few minutes, during which I tried to turn on the ceiling fan, but it didn't work. I couldn't even tilt it towards me,
Okay, I see where
not
this is going.
not remotely at least. I'd have to grab a ladder and tilt it by hand, but what's the point if the fan won't turn on? After another couple minutes on the screen appeared, we're sorry, the service is not available at the time. We are hard at work. Who cares? Bored out of my wits, I know the feeling. I decided to check my Facebook wall because, again, that'll totally be. I get that Facebook, of people will say all the time, oh, Facebook is so dead, even though it's actually really not. But I seriously think that within 40 years, no one's going to have Facebook anymore or Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Gila. How's it going? We're
Hey,
still
Gila.
writing letters 40 years in the future. Future Netflix is scary when you think about it. There'd probably be a Cuties trilogy made in that time. Oh, God.
Alas, I couldn't do that either. Actually, I couldn't do anything web related. Twitter, YouTube, not even Google. All of which will probably be, maybe not Google, but
Yeah, Google will
This
probably
guy
do it
just
for
lost his whole internet and made a whole horror story about it.
I thought that I might have been
Impressive.
disconnected from the internet, but of course that would have been extremely unlikely. I mean, this isn't the year 2028.
What does that
However,
even
I went
mean?
ahead and checked my home server status just in
Because it's
case.
not the caveman years, Manny. It's a very clever joke.
As I suspected, I was offline.
Because no.
Okay, like I can see. There's no way it wasn't 2028 anymore. There was no way I was offline. I checked. I was offline.
I went to check on the stove. After all, I never trusted the auto cook function. It's always stopping prematurely. That's what we look forward to in the future, then, I guess. As I was walking toward the kitchen, I couldn't help but notice the faint sound of the
Everything's
security
online.
camera on the wall turning.
A smart oven, smart shoe, a smart table, a smart salt shaker, a smart couch,
Thank you, Raptor.
a
We get
smart
it.
light, smart everything.
Why would
It's a
you have a
smart
security
house.
camera inside your house?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Smart security camera.
right, my brother and my sister-in-law have some in their house, but it's to like check on the kids, like while they're sleeping and stuff.
Yeah, but why would you have one in your kitchen?
Yeah. That makes no sense.
I
It's a
looked
food
toward
ban
it
that
and
comes in, and
I
because the food banner might steal their food, and that's not good.
Well, I'm sorry, I just like what Jamie said here. What happened in 2028? Did Hitler resurrect himself and fight Mecha Chris? Cricket?
no, she is
Yeah.
not drawing that. You are a child.
Me, in my beautiful face. I don't know what I wanted to draw me as, but it must involve me because I'm epic.
Okay,
I'm
it'll be
very
the
epic,
fight between
guys.
Hitler and Mecha Chris Chan and Raptor. You're sitting there watching with popcorn.
Yeah, perfect.
How about not?
Yes. Well, yes.
I looked toward it and saw that it was looking right back at me. Now this creeps me out. It's programmed not to follow approved people, and of course I'm approved. I control the list. And even if it was just a fluke, I thought I had to set it to a fixed position. I even checked its app. There it is, camera position fixed. I even tried setting it to variable and then back to fixed, but it didn't work. It just kept following my every move. I wanted to contact the manufacturer about it, but alas, that's the second time you've said
Yeah,
that.
alas. God.
I had no access to the
Installed
internet.
smart security cameras. Should
I'd
have
have
never
to go
gone
to their
online.
I'd have to go to their offices if I wanted to get the issue resolved, and so I headed for the main entrance. As I reached the handle, the lock engaged, indicated by a little blue LED on the side of the handle. I tried unlocking it, but neither the app nor the manual lock switch worked. Something was definitely wrong. Then the
And smart
window
locks.
Yeah, what's wrong is we're still reading the story.
As long as this guy just decided to make everything online.
No, what's wrong is that you were still writing at this point.
As
then
long as that creepypastas are a thing. Yeah, said it.
Based.
Then the window next to me closed shut. Lock engaged. Another one lock. A third one lock. A fourth one lock. Thank you! One by one, all the windows closed on their own. I started heading to the room with the home server. I had to check this out. As I walked past the living room, I stopped by the feeling of a strong draft on my back. But all the windows are closed, I thought. I looked back and saw the ceiling fan pointed directly toward me, spinning out of control. A split second later, it dislodged and hurled at me.
Hate it when
Oh,
those smart ceiling fans do that. They clearly need to look out.
naturally, I moved out of the way, my head barely missing its metal blades. I felt my smartphone buzzing. I checked it only to find the words, "Got you now," displayed on it.
What is going on? Also, everyone, uh, just spell Quickville in the chat if you want Cricket to be commissioned for that Hitler Mecha Chris Chan piece. Please continue.
Really not that funny. Then an awful smell started to fill the air. It didn't take me long for me to realize what it was. Gas leak, I said. 'Cause you think when you
I hate
just.
them. I hate
You need
those
to
smart
stop and.
gas leaks. Just make
You
sure
need to.
they're online all the time, or else they'll leak and burn down your house.
You really need to stop and say gas leak when you realize what's going on, not just get the fuck out of there somehow.
Oh, but the eye door is locked.
Okay? So just fucking start kicking a window.
Wait, I'm sorry. The main entrance.
I remembered that I had left the stove on, so I started running away from the kitchen in anticipation. Behind me, I heard a loud swoosh as if a large fire had been started. I could feel the heat from the flames inching ever closer to me as I ran toward the bathroom. Its metallic, airtight door should be enough to hold back the flames, I thought.
Airtight door?
For
I'm
a
sorry,
bathroom?
what?
I ran into the bathroom and I slammed the door shut. For a bit, I thought I was safe until I heard the door lock itself. Not knowing what to expect, I just closed my eyes and waited. Seconds later, I heard the shower turn on. Really, I thought? What are you gonna do? Wash me to death? Are you really trying to be are you really trying to be facetious when shit is clearly not going right in your house? I opened my eyes and saw the window close and its lock engaged. indicated by a blue LED on its side. You already said that's how it's indicated. You don't have to say it again. Then I started to realize where this was going. I pulled back the shower curtain to confirm my suspicions. It was worse than I thought. The water in the tub was not only rising, but piping hot. He didn't want to drown me, but to boil me.
Okay,
It
okay.
doesn't matter if you
What?
don't get in.
Yeah, and also you assume it's he. Okay, do you know who this is? What?
Also, hot water is not infinite. Eventually, it'll start to run out.
Yeah.
Well before it'll boil you.
Unless he's got the smart boiler.
Yeah, that's
Uses a
smart,
piece of the
that's smart salt shaker. Yeah,
powered by a piece of the Chernobyl reactor. Are we on Mars?
that's
Do
why
you
the Chernobyl
want us to do it?
that's
Is he on the
happened.
ghost?
No, it's a smart ghost because it has to be online for it to haunt people. Very smart. It's
Ah, shit! Someone turned on the smart ghost. That's what's going on.
It didn't take long for the water to start spilling on the ground. I leaped onto the toilet, then to the vanity, then to the shower curtain beam, desperately trying to get away from the rising water. The window was just out of reach. If I could just unscrew
in the smart toilet and the smart shower curtains.
if I could just unscrew the beam, I could
You mean the smart beam?
Raptor, I swear to God.
I mean the smart god. He needs to be connected to the internet to answer your prayers.
Are you fucking done?
I'll be done once I lose internet because I'm a smart raptor. Yeah, I'm done.
I could use stand in the vanity and use it to smash through the window.
I could use stand in the vanity.
What I hadn't noticed was that the vanity's faucet had been turned on as well. When I tried to put my foot down on the vanity, I felt a sharp burning sensation on my foot, which made me jolt and lose my grip on the beam. Then I fell into the water. It felt like being on fire inside and out. By the way, while showers, they can get really hot, but they cannot get hot enough to boil you alive. Otherwise, there would be so many deaths.
Mackenzie, this is the year 2066. Their
Yeah,
And it
showers are
is
so much more powerful.
and you don't think they would have been able to at least
it's a
keep the
smart shower,
technology
so
that has been keeping us pretty safe for years?
and it's a smart shower.
Not with this jackass creating the rules
So
of
it's likely
technology.
that it needs to be connected to the internet to control its temperature.
Damn, Ben's back at it again.
Which made me jolt and lose my grip on the beam. Then I fell into the water. It felt like being on fire inside and out. And I ended up here at the hospital. I don't remember who brought me in though. Apparently I came in with serious third degree contact burns from bathwater.
And my lungs also took a hit. How?
Well, when you're unconscious and you fall in water, you're still inhaling water that gets in your lungs. It's poorly worded, but
Yes.
when you're gonna get water in your lungs, that's not good. Context clues are important, Manny.
I mean, smart
What?
context clues.
Got
Raptor.
him.
Raptor, can you do me a favor?
What?
Try making a smart joke.
He's been doing that.
No, he hasn't.
But in smart
I've been
witty
here for
joke,
a few weeks now,
just
still
a
far from
sad immature
recovered,
joke.
but way better than when I came in. Police are still investigating my case, but so far they haven't found anything that indicates my home server was attacked. What bullshit technology are you even basing this shit on? This would so
Should have
not
gotten
be.
NordVPN.
This is exactly why things like this probably won't become a thing in the future.
Okay.
Or Norton security, so he can help protect his home server from those nasty attackers.
Raptor, you just had me think like a guy wearing like the most stereotypical doctor outfit walks in and goes, really, this could have all been prevented. Like rips off his jacket, he's got like a Norton's shirt on. If you had purchased the newest version of Norton's. It's like, what? This was all an ad? Yep.
Oh god, get this. They do at least believe me, though. It's not the first time this sort of thing happens. Far from
What?
it, actually. So why is it a thing?
This would have been corrected.
I'm just glad this is all behind me. It is, however, scary to think that someone could have that to me.
Could have.
Afraid. Still can, actually. Once I am out of here, I'm gonna sell the house. I'm gonna buy one of those vintage 40-year-old homes complete with old offline appliances. Get it?
God.
The youth of today. Remember, kids, all of our stuff now will be seen as vintage in years to come, except most of it is still pretty usable.
Remember, kids,
Uh,
online, bad, poopy.
Yeah.
Offline, good, epic.
I like
Just
When
in a
in doubt,
message
phone
from the
bad.
boomer community.
The boiling features for the race of crap that have been living alongside humanity since 2028.
Well, won't be enough. Okay, that just typed itself. No, it didn't. I can't even backspace anymore. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Oh god, really? Still want you gone. Why? Fun. I don't know who or where you are, but I survived you once. Because I saved you. What? I called the ambulance. Death by boiling felt boring.
Okay. So wait. This is like the internet has Munchausen's by proxy.
No. I'm pretty sure the implication is that it's just some hacker.
Maybe it's the Jeff the Killer virus. Wait.
What in the ... doesn't matter. You want to try to kill me again? Good luck. You won't find me at my old place, but I guess you already knew that. He's taking a while to respond. Maybe he gave up. You're mine now. The numbers on my EKG machine just changed to die, and my IV is going down really fast. My veins feel like they're going to explode. It hurts so much. Ha ha ha. How does it feel being hunted? Well, that was shit.
Oh, title drop. And we
So
have
that's why they
so
call it that. Wait, so this story
so
with the story about a haunted house of tomorrow. The amount of planned obsolescence companies do with their products, most vintage appliances wouldn't work in 4.
All right.
Oh.
I'm going to say something that I think you'll all agree with. That Disney
very
Channel
funny.
movie Smart House is scarier than this.
It is.
Doesn't that like feature the actor of Leela?
Yes. Yeah, Katie Skull. I'm not gonna
Like,
lie. This story actually has me wanting to make an account just to comment on this one.
Don't, and no one do that either.
I think I'm gonna do it.
in here because my it cut out, but
Don't
whatever
do
it
it,
is,
Manny.
just
Are
do
you
it.
10?
Do it.
All right, you know what? Let's make some jokes, okay?
No.
Oop.
So shall we go to the next one?
I suppose.
It's weird. The one after, we're going to do binary DNA because we're just going in order, but the ones after, it seems like it has 2 separate links.
It's
But
not
it
2 separate
doesn't.
links.
I think it just
It's the
leads to
same link.
It just leads to the same story. That's so weird. Anyway,
It's broken up because
So we're on binary Dina,
poop.
Haunted House of the Future will have all the latest paranormal technology.
Cameron, never seen it, still agree. I'm pretty sure referencing Smart House. What? Thinking about it, that movie was really fucked. It was about a house that came with its own, like, holographic sort of maid who wants to just try to take over as the family's stepmom.
Yeah. As the
They
character
come to life.
dies.
It was like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but for kids
Yeah.
and not in space.
As the character dies, the doctor whispers, Bud Crabbington says his
House
charts.
Odyssey.
Snip, snip. Oh.
Oh, wow, I already hate this first line.
No, that hasn't been said in 200 years.
Yeah, maybe they said that way back when photography was first invented because anything progressive that has been invented frightened people.
Yeah. Oh, magic flashbox steals soul.
And then they realized, oh, well, we can photograph our dead with it. That's cool. Let's just prop up bodies.
Yeah. Okay, sorry for everyone in the chat. I'll read this first line. It is said when you take a picture of someone, you capture their soul in the camera.
Is that why they decided to use early photography to, like, capture their dead children before they started to rot?
Does that actually happen?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
People
was
would prop up their dead relatives wanting to get, like, one last photograph of them before rigor mortis would set in.
Like, with the time it took to set up for a picture, it was pretty much a moot point. Okay, it is also said that if you print it off, that picture contains the soul itself and you can control them. What?
No one has said that either.
Okay, this is just like the last one. Like, you're establishing all this continuity, as weak as it is, without explaining it first.
Yeah, I'll give you at least a little leeway with the first sentence, because again, maybe that's what they said over 100 years ago.
But
because photography still had probably frightened people, but no one has ever said that when you print it off, the picture contains the soul itself, and you can. No one has ever once said that. You made that up.
Those 150-year-old printers, like, want to make a copy of this picture? Print. I'm not sure where to start. Obviously, you are, because you started with Camera Steal Souls.
Didn't The Simpsons parody that for a Treehouse of Horror? Maybe. I don't know.
So.
I have not seen all. They have made how many Treehouse of Horrors now?
Over 30.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think he did.
Do you know what the primordial soup
so
is?
30 Treehouses of Horror?
Okay, yeah, the primordial soup is...
Away from 44. Haha. The funniest number.
A veritable ocean of elements, all floating around randomly. That's just soup. And through millions of years of time, you could just say through millions of years, eventually the right set of random circumstances came to pass and the elements were able to connect together and form the world's first single-cell organism. Not really how that worked, but okay.
What does that have to do with photography?
Now, that's a really boiled down version of it, but I'm sure you get the gist of it. I get the gist that you're an idiot. Fast forward.
This is the Norman Bouton form of writing, where this person heard about something, thought it was interesting, and said, I'm going to make it into a story.
I'm going to make it into epic story, ho-hoy.
I love that ho-hoy is becoming your catchphrase. Wait, so when the camera was invented, people would prop
69 is my catchphrase.
That's true. Prop bodies up on stools and make it look like they were having a tea party, or, I don't know, a mukbang or something, so they could be the flashy box.
No, so you know how in old photographs everyone just looked solemnly at the camera? As if smiles weren't a thing? Same principle, except with dead people.
Well, no, the smile thing really was because of how long it took up to set up the shot. It's like, no, we're uncomfortable right now. We can't. Like, I'm not smiling anymore. Just take the damn picture. Okay. Fast forward a few billion years to the early 1990s. Thank you for that irrelevant discussion. When internet use began to rapidly accelerate, every home had a computer.
No.
No. Maybe by the early 2000s you could make that statement. And new connections between computers were opening on by the second basis. No, they were not. In the early 1990s, it was still, oh, you're either like some computer worker or you're just some nerd who knows about the internet.
Hey, Manny.
That was barely. You either used a computer again because you worked with computers, or you did it for homework.
Yeah.
Yes. Manny, Kenzie, you guys.
Yes.
Did you know that? Do you know adding like a printer or anything else to your personal computer is like a matter of trial and error? Well, thanks to Windows 95, it's easy. Stop Windows 95.
I miss Windows 95.
You know that you can also multitask in Windows 95. It's this new thing that allows you to do multiple things with multiple tabs on the same computer. Isn't that impressive? Please stop Windows 95.
Trillions of bytes of data.
Trillions of bytes of data began to transfer around the world at the speed of light. Okay, this sounds like Jim Carrey's speech in Cable Guy. Music, text, sound, and most importantly, semicolon for some reason, pictures. Now, when you take a picture of someone and capture their soul, doesn't happen, what happens when that picture is converted to data and placed on a hard drive? Nothing. It's converted to data and put on a hard drive. End of story. Does the soul follow?
No.
15 years later, we believe so. No, we don't. We believe that when you take a picture of someone and upload it onto your computer alongside the image data, a blueprint of the person's soul itself is printed on the file itself. What are you babbling about?
Who's we? If you're talking about us, like if you're talking about most normal human beings, no, we don't.
I feel like this was written by a guy like wearing nothing but a diaper and sitting in like his Y2K fallout shelter. Look at your pictures folder. How many souls reside in that folder? Okay.
None,
probably
because most
none.
of the pictures I have on my computer aren't of me.
Yeah. And also, okay, what if this picture is copied and sent to someone else? Like, does the soul get split or copied itself? God. It's just the beginning, though. Oh my god, of course it is. These soul blueprints each retains pieces of a puzzle, parts of the soul itself as well. That makes no sense. Recently, a group of hackers who refer to themselves as the Cardinals shut the fuck up.
Baseball team no one cares about.
Took an interest to this theory and began experiments. They found nothing because it was all bollocks. They found anomalies within the binary sequences of images based on similar features or the person they had taken a picture of. A binary DNA.
What drugs are you on? I want some.
I'm sticking with my like jackass in a Y2K fallout shelter.
Okay, let's just move on. I want to get to the next story. Just skim through it, folks.
Now these hackers had come to possess. Now you see, these hackers, they came to possess a set of 3 extremely important data files: one AVI, one JPEG, and one MP3, each of which possessing interesting, unexplainable qualities.
Nothing about this in this story is interesting. Do you want me to take over for a little?
Please.
The first, Cradle.avi, depicts what appears to be a group of teenagers with a low-quality video camera exploring the basement of a house. The quality of the video is distorted completely beyond any comprehensibility, and yet you were able to determine that it was a group of teenagers exploring the basement of a house, and the video is very low quality. For most of the video, the camera is passed around the group, handed back and forth, and jerked around too much to make anything noticeable out.
Okay,
And yet you still are able to note all these things about it.
yeah, this is like that the one Jeff the Killer story where it's like this picture flashed by in a single frame, but then I'm going to go on to describe it in great detail.
Or no, it's just, again, we mentioned this before. Low quality videos are scurry.
Yeah.
Even though even though it's so low quality, you can't make out what the fuck's happening. You're still able to describe it in perfect detail.
Yep.
Just stop. But near the end, the camera turns at an odd angle, and you can make out a young girl standing in the corner facing the wall. Of course, you could make out that it was a girl and not just, couldn't be androgynous. Because it's just so hard to make out. Her hair is long and black, and she is wearing some form of white dress. Okay, so we're just gonna copy off The Ring. Cool. You only see her for a split second, but many people who have seen the video claim there just seems something wrong with her. A bit deformed, but not in a way anyone can explain.
Yeah,
Probably because you can't make out anything in the video.
That is exactly The Ring, though.
But the truly peculiar property of this video is what happens to the user's computer at the end of it. Oh, something funky happens to the computer, guys! On the
It
last
makes
second
you download Bonzi Buddy.
On the last second of the video.
Hello there. I don't believe we met. I'm Bonzi. I want to steal your data. Give me your data, kid. Bonzi needs to buy a yacht. Come on, don't be shy. Give me your money.
Know.
If not already, so the video will full screen itself. Okay. Along with this, you are left with a 1 second looping clip of a window and a wall, as opposed to a window and a floor. It loops 15 times, and then the girl is seen again, standing on the other side of the window with her back to the viewer, slowly wavering back and forth. After a few minutes, the video ends and the user's computer permanently shuts down. It is just The Ring. Inspection has shown that the entire registry becomes completely corrupt, requiring the user to do a total wipe and reinstall. The second file is known as...
It won't start up again.
Because bullshit. The second file is known as needles.mp3. The sound file, when played, plays for about 3 minutes. It is extremely distorted. One can occasionally make out some sort of voice talking, but most of the sound is some form of growling, rolling, crackled roar. What? Users who listen to this file often experience extreme nausea and loss of balance for a brief period of time.
Here's from Cameron. The computer not doing what you want it to when you put weird stuff on it? Who'd have thought? Yeah.
The final file is known as burningman.jpg. Just a bunch of hippies sitting in the desert
it's probably
smoking
just some
weed.
guys from the Burning Man festival.
Yeah. The file name has nothing to do with what the actual picture depicts. Aww. Instead of it just displays a haphazard mess of overlaid and mesh images of dolls in a hallway. There also seems to be an image of a man standing with his head cast down in the background, but the image is too distorted to make anything out, much like the other files. What's the point? The image, when downloaded and opened and on a user's desktop, will proceed to stay permanently open on whatever program it is opened through. Not only that, the program becomes disabled, nothing else happens, the image just permanently sits there on your desktop, unclickable, unminimizable, and you're just left there with the man's invisible gaze staring at you, even though you can't actually really make him out.
Okay, I need to bring this up again. If this is the third file you're opening, how are you opening it? The second file's like completely, permanently shut down your computer.
From what the group of hackers were able to discern, this file seems to have pre-compiled into the data something along the lines of CMD DOW. Yet, as complex and intricate as the program is, it works across all OS platforms. No one knows who the original creator is. In fact, few people have heard of it, as the file is uncopyable or ascendable. Of course, because then you would have to actually admit that this is bullshit.
Yep.
This is in fact further adds to the mystery, as often receivers of this file will obtain it from random anonymous emails posted on forums on a download link. Posing the question, how is that poster able to upload it? Who cares? If you see any of these files, refrain from downloading any of them. They all have varying detrimental effects on your computers, from practically taking out your whole registry, corrupting your system 32, freezing your mouse, or crashing your computer. So they're just viruses. Woo, scary.
No, Kenzie, they're photography souls or some shit.
Oh yeah, that was a thing we had on the beginning of that sentence, wasn't it?
Fonzie buddy. Also, I guess the story's over. That's over.
This is so bullshit. You go from photography souls to DNA bullshit to JPEGs and MP3s. Now onwards. Oh, there's more.
No, please,
The group of hackers, the
I want to get
Cardinals,
to the next story, please.
No.
Next story.
took to analyzing these 3 files and comparing their odd behaviors. They had heard of other such odd files, images, data, etc., but were never able to get their hands on them, at least as far as we know through rumors. Though rumor states they in fact were able to locate and collect all of the known files, like the original smile.jpg, barbie.jpg, even suicidemouse.avi, of course. Not even the grifter was able to escape their grasp, rumor states. There are no rumors, no one's talking about this, shut up. But rumor also states the grifter video even exists, but that's another story. The fuck are you talking about? What's the grifter?
Grifter? What?
Is this referring to another creepypasta?
I think so.
I think by grifter he means Griffin, as in Peter Griffin.
Nonetheless, all these files in hand, the group lined the files up and began to meticulously work through the binary 1-1 at a time, checking for similar strains and series of binary that matched. They did manage to successfully do so. At least legend states there's no legend. This is bullshit. Don't puff up your own work by saying there's a legend attached to this, you piece of shit. The result was 7 individual execute files that did nothing. Simply a gibberish pile of O's and 1s.
That's binary.
They endless puzzled over the files. Each tackling and execute each. They decided to name them after themselves. Lust, gluttony, greed, envy, sloth, wrath, and pride.
Wait, what about
edge?
What about number 8, Uburu, the warrior of sadness?
Oh, this would have been worse if they were like, because Weeaboo.
At last they attempted to line the files up. Remarkably, something odd happened. The copies of the files quite suddenly meshed together.
I have nothing insightful to say right now.
The result was a single complete execute already named barelybreathing.exe. Itchy.
I love Jamie's comment here.
Oh,
this is almost as bad as the time I had my soul taken by a picture. What about the dwarf in the jar? Oh, I get it. Nice one,
Cameron. And what of this file? Well, not much is known after that point. They were too smart to just execute it. They analyzed the file every possible way. Hex, binary, conversions, anything to figure out what this odd file would do. To no avail, even after farming together, it was an even bigger jumble of O's and 1s and made no more sense than separate executes.
Wait, they were too smart? I thought you said that they weren't smart enough to figure out half this stuff.
They backed the file up on a flash drive and proceeded to run it. That was the last command found on their destroyed computers a week later. Their corpses had been disfigured beyond recognition.
Then how do you know it was them?
Description of the
Body was
corpses stated that it almost seemed
bodies from
as
the
if they had been
beyond
brutally slashed across their faces and arms. Every square inch of skin that had been bare had been mutilated, almost microwaved and then sliced repeatedly by a micro-thin razor.
What is this?
Huh. The government attempted to hush up the event, but there was some media leakage, and because the Cardinals have been keeping a blog amongst themselves and a few close friends, it's closed down and deleted now, so don't try going to find it. We're not. We know it's not real. It quickly spread out as per what they had been attempting to accomplish, and if it was or was not related to their terrible deaths. Government attempted to hush up the event. Fuck you. And what of the flash drive? A friend who knew of its existence later checked the home of the group. So they all just lived in this. These 7 people all shared the same home. Just a little family of hackers.
It smelled horrible.
smell like sweat.
I'm Father Hacker. This is my wife, Mama Hacker, and these are our 5 children hackers. According to reports, the drive was found in the pocket of one of the group and been taken into custody by police and then simply vanished. The trail continues on, far more though. The file resurfaces every few weeks around the globe. No, it doesn't. Governments attempt to cover it up. No, they don't. But some media leaks it out. No, it doesn't. Of course. Look to the news for people mutilated in their own homes by, quote unquote, a murderer, their computers stolen, etc. Oh, that's nice. So just look up any murders that might have been happening around your community, and rather than be frightened or be empathetic, know that, oh, it proves my bullshit. If you ever get a cryptic email with an attachment labeled barelybreathing.exe, for fuck's sake, do not open it. Oh, we got an edgy curse in there, guys.
You know, if the media reported on this, what it would say, what, nerds doing nerd shit. News at 11. One big LAN party. Oh, God. That was a special kind of stupid.
None of that had to do with souls.
Who wrote
or
DNA?
Ghosts, or really even photography, like pictures.
Or anything. Or happiness. Or cohesion.
Now this one's special. The Bubble Brothers Happy Happy Fun House.
This is gonna be epic.
Oh, God. Oh, this is gonna be a bitch to read. We're gonna have to assign roles. This isn't even a story. This is just a chat log, and it's really long.
Yeah, let's not do this one. Really, if we're gonna do it, let's come back to it at a later date.
Yeah, let's come. We'll save this one. We'll do this one on a separate stream. Maybe we'll read it with a couple others.
Yeah, it's like
when we have time to like establish roles, go through it.
Yeah, we need to go through and just find out how many roles there are. You can read the next story here. Buyer beware.
Hey. Buyer beware.
Okay, yeah, at least this one isn't very long.
Wait. No. Just have one thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Before we start.
Yeah. Doctor?
Okay, okay, wait for it. Now I'm ready. Okay. I'm posting this through a bonnet. Don't even think about getting cute and trying to find me. I've got enough trouble with people trying to
Here we
find me
go.
as it is. It all started a few months ago when I found a good source of amphetamines on a dark web marketplace I won't name. Guys, I think this is J Station. Okay, now I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna try to read this in a J Station voice now. Because
Oh God, no!
suffering. Yes.
Why? Why would
Shit.
you do
Live
that?
in a town so small and bland that even the local high school kids don't bother selling drugs. It's born as sin here, which is one of the reasons I started ordering speed online in the first place. I was always cautious. I handled my Bitcoin carefully and ensured that every transaction was well encrypted. Yes, before you ask, the proxies I used were fully configured and trustworthy ones. It wasn't the technology that failed me at all, actually. It was a single mistake in judgment. To a single trusted seller, I gave my real physical address. At first, I was only getting small packages for my personal use, so it was easy to have them delivered to my house of an old woman nearby. The living nurse consistently checked the mail very late in the day, so there was never much of an issue in retrieving the speed before it was noticed. Okay, I'm tired of Jason voice. I'm just gonna read this normally. But my habit grew, and I began to introduce my close friends to the drug.
That
So
just sounds
eventually, I
like
contacted my seller about ordering larger quantities, enough for me to sell locally. What'd you say?
Jimmy's comment. That just sounds like Butch the Bully from Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
The fact that you remember the names of the characters from Cool Cat Saves the Kids is kind of disturbing.
You heard of Dirty Dog from the new movie? Cool Cat stops the coronavirus.
It's something he wanted to make. It's a thing.
Oh my
Did you guys
I was
god.
hear
disappointed that
that?
he never made Cool Cat stop the school shooting. That could have been a real classic, if you know what I mean.
But did you know he contacted Your Movie Sucks and said, you know, if you make at least 3 videos advertising my Cool Cat stops coronavirus, your picture can show up in the background of like the opening shot of the movie.
Everyone's dream come true.
That was his deal. After he had a falling out with him and didn't speak to him and blocked him for years because he defended I Hate Everything.
Oh boy.
Oh, Daddy Dick, you'd be crazy. Yeah. Well, where was I again?
We began to work like business partners.
Okay, we began to work like business partners in a supply chain, and I was placing substantial orders regularly. Speed originally came to me in small padded envelopes. Now it was. What's so funny?
I ordered speed. Lots of speed.
Lightning McQueen. Ciao.
I get it.
Ciao. Now it would have to be shipped in larger cardboard boxes. Envelopes always fit easily inside a mailbox. A box like this would have to be delivered to the front door. I couldn't have the mailman walking up to a stranger's driveway
What?
to ring the doorbell, so I requested that the now start being sent directly to me. What happened?
What?
I just asked what happened.
Nothing.
It's getting awkward. Funny joke. 69.
Ha!
Money was stored. I requested that the speed start being sent directly to me. He knew by this point that the seller was a legitimate and reliable source. So trusted him with my address seemed safer than the alternative. It becomes something like casual friends by this point, and began to do things together like frequent the same deep web communities and chat if we were both online. My seller was wicked funny sometimes, and really seemed like be a nice guy. I guess that's part of why I trusted him. Again, it's not his fault about what happened. Tyler Whedon. Wanna take over, Manny?
Yeah. Recently, though, I got a totally unsatisfactory shipment. The pressed bills looked right at first, but tasted like bitter flour and were far too brittle. They produced no high at all. I had been stiffed. When I checked the marketplace, I found that my seller's accounts had been closed out. He left no messages to explain it. I assumed that he had just ripped me off, but it also didn't seem like something he would do. Oh yeah, the trustworthy drug dealer. I wondered if I had misjudged him. Yesterday, I noticed that one of his accounts was actively posting on one of the small community forums that we frequented together. I contacted, I contacted him immediately in a private message and asked whether he knew that his last batch was complete bunk. About 25 minutes before I got any response, but suddenly the messages began pouring in.
Okay, can I read the seller's account?
Yeah. Seller's account.
Okay. The person you're trying to contact has passed away. Sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
He passed away. What part do you not understand?
Why is the forum telling him this? Seller's account.
He's such a homeboy that nobody has knocked on his door the whole time I've been here.
Seller's account.
3 weeks with no visitors. Isn't that funny?
Seller's account.
I'm almost done eating him. I wasted very little soft tissue.
What? I'm almost done eating him?
It's Jeff the Killer.
Seller's
Animal
account.
now. He had almost no food in the house when I killed him, so I didn't need to clear out the fridge to store his meat.
Seller's account.
I thought Jeffrey
You haven't
Dahmer
even
worked in
need-
the 70s.
Haven't even needed to take out the trash yet.
Seller's account.
Isn't that sort of funny?
Seller's
No.
I've been poking around his computers too,
Seller's account.
going through his files is like solving a big puzzle cube.
What? Seller's account.
I'm making progress like my progress to 50 million subscribers, so remember to smash that like button to subscribe to my channel to become a part of the J Station Nation, y'all.
So J Station's a cannibal now. I wrote back and accused him of taking a weird joke too far. I told him that at least he owed me an explanation for the last shipment. Seller's account.
Bone meat.
Bone meal.
The bone meal.
Seller's account.
Never smelled bone meal.
Oh! Seller's account.
You never have a garden as a kid or anything.
What? Seller's account.
I thought that'd be obvious.
Seller's account.
Skeleton was the only thing I hadn't figured out what to do with.
Seller's account.
I realized that I could solve that issue and also play a little prank
What?
with
Seller's
my
account.
3 a.m. pranks. Come on, dude. Don't you think that's a funny idea? Like how it's a good idea to subscribe to my channel to become a part of the J Nation, y'all. Remember to smash the like button.
Seller's account. Oh wait, there was a brief pause, and then another short volley of messages appeared before I could form my response. Just go ahead and read them, Roger.
You know, you actually don't live too far away from where I am now. Judging by the address I have here, you and this guy are just over the state line from each other. Isn't that something? Well, be seeing you, but before you log off, remember to subscribe to my channel to become a part of the J Nation, y'all. Smash the like button, yo, for some 3 a.m. videos, yo. Peace out, yo.
What do you think? It's probably just a scheme to scare me off, right? Go fuck yourself. What is this? Update number 1 edit. Recently, I came here looking for a little device. I've been busy since then, and had some wellness issues too. My hands and feet keep falling half asleep, and I noticed that I've been getting nauseous whenever my heart rate goes up at all. A few of you commented that fresh bone meal doesn't have a distinct taste like the one I described. It's just that maybe it had been cut with something else. I think you might be right. What is this? I've done some research now and found that there are a wide variety of paralytic and toxic agents that are better on. Does one of you want to take over?
Really? Fine. Where are we?
This just babbles on forever.
Where are we?
I don't even know. Hold on, I went scrolling. I've done some research now.
I've done some research now. No, you haven't. And found that there are a wide variety of paralytic and toxic agents that are bitter on the tongue, like what I've described. I'm ashamed to say this, but I find myself actually hoping the taste is just cadaverine. That would just mean that some bits of flesh had been ground up with the bone meal and tainted it as the pieces began to rot. The fact that I tasted something like that makes me want to puke, but at least cadaverine would mean that I haven't been poisoned. It's probably just my anxious mind playing tricks on me, but I'm beginning to think that the tablets did contain some kind of debilitating ingredient. The sleepiness I mentioned in my first post, which I originally attributed simply to amphetamine withdrawal, was only continued to grow worse. It's become difficult even to type out this message. I often feel the need to massage my wrists and rests before continuing. My breathing seems to require more conscious effort than it did before. I received a number of private messages chiding me on my own ignorance with regards to proper deep web safety. Okay, guys, you win. I'm ready to admit that I'm a fucking poser. I'm a script kiddie who's in way over his head, and there's no telling how many mistakes I've made. The number of strange accounts have begun to contact me directly on the deep and surface web alike. I've been avoiding these this isn't really bad enough to make fun of, guys.
Yeah, this is just.
I'm just kind of. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just there.
Yeah,
Move on.
yeah, I think so.
Canonical youth.
Canonical age, I guess. Canonical age, no. What's the old equivalent to youth?
Elder.
The canonical elder.
All right, I'll give this one. I'll start this one and give you guys a break.
Okay.
The following text was found as a document on a laptop possessed by writer William Mathers of NYC. It doesn't mean possessed in
Never heard
that
of him. Don't
sense.
care.
You can't blame me for that. It's a fucking creepypasta.
The Hamza forest that surrounds the village of Greenwald has had a morbid history. Even
Not
during the
true.
clear, happy summers, the sleek pine trees and old stone paths can seem as though the forest is hiding something. At least that is what we all thought as kids. There was me,
It's not.
Bobby, and Daniel. We formed a sort of rat pack in elementary school, which persisted until I moved to New York City when I was 11. Despite the airiness of the forest, we spent many days playing in it, pretending to be knights and dragons or special forces operatives hunting down an enemy commander. I was sad when we moved and lost almost all contact with them until my 23rd birthday, when I received a letter from Daniel that simply read, Bobby's dead. What? Bobby's dead. Funeral at Greenwald Church. 11th July. Please come.
Sad. I'm so sad because I'm so sad about Bobby, this character I've grown to so attached to in this paragraph we know him. Sad.
Honestly, this one just seems like another case of not good, not bad, just there.
It always looks like it has some potential, to be honest.
Nah. Despite the stupid name, it's just spooky woods.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly grammatically wrong with it.
Um, should we just go to the next one?
Yeah. I mean, it's no binary DNA.
Yeah. All right. Case number 304.
Oh, this is written strangely.
Yeah. Okay. In 2003, a series of strange deaths occurred throughout the United States, baffling police forces all over. No, that did not happen. The case is known to investigators as case number 304.
It should have been called Case 34. That's 34
Raptor,
is an
no.
online number.
The crime scenes at the victims' houses all shared similar aspects. Corpses were found next to their computer, leading investigators to believe that the suspect had murdered them while they were distracted or moved their bodies into the chairs. I mean, they can easily figure that out. It's not one or the other. It's not like they have to guess. The victims seem to have all died in the same manner. It seemed like something was like ripped out of their body.
You
Gashes all
used
over their
Windows ME.
gashes all over their head. Someone had slashed their faces repeatedly with a sharp object. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's slashed, I assume they're not using a blunt object. After identifying the corpses and searching the computers, detectives found victims all shared similar qualities. They all played some game called Sonic.exe. They were all very tech savvy internet thieves, users who frequently shared copyrighted documents with other users on the internet. What they saw in the
An
victims.
anti-piracy story. Wait. Here one else says, piracy is not theft.
Correct. What they saw in the victims' rooms.
It's not. It's theft, and not say taxation is theft. Not
Yes.
theft. It is.
Space
Taxation is
Raptor.
theft. Piracy is not.
Space Raptor. What they
Very
saw in
basic.
the victims' rooms wasn't anything too unusual. Messy furniture, bugs, bloodstains, nothing they hadn't dealt with before. I mean, if they're stink bugs, then they'd call in Kenzie with the, what was it, like the electrical tennis racket.
That's what it looks like. It's an electric fly swatter, really.
Yeah! Um, they found hidden on the
That crow swatter.
victim's computer, however, was much more frightening than anything they had ever seen. I doubt that. The computers of the victims were given to a team of cybercrime professionals, and all of them were assigned case number 304. Okay, I'm not kidding. Little is known about the progress that they made, for all records of the investigation have either been lost or destroyed. How convenient. What we do know is that after 3 weeks of nonstop investigation,
It never existed.
the team marked the case inconclusive. What? I thought they saw something too frightening. Shortly after ending the
Mostly
case,
it's because Windows shut down the operation because they found that Windows was linked to the crimes, and they didn't want their good name soiled by this horrible event.
setting a
That's
progress
my
report.
2 cents.
Setting a progress report. No, don't send a report. Shortly after ending the case, members of the team experienced symptoms of dyslexia, epilepsy, and narcolepsy. Dyslexia is not something that you develop, it's something you're born with, jackass. 2 members committed suicide during the investigation, and 3 more did the same afterwards. To date, nearly all members of the team have been declared either dead or missing. The other remaining team member is Craig Brower, a digital forensics examiner who worked for the Portland Police Department. Brower is currently admitted at the Oregon Mental Health Center. Has been diagnosed as mentally unstable. Yeah, don't look up like anything specific. Just go for bottom of the barrel generic explanation. The team first started searching the victims' computers. They found one folder that happened to be in each victim's hard drive. The folder was titled Unknown. At first glance, the contents of the folder seemed unimportant. But the team knew that this folder must have something to do with the murders, for it was stored on every single computer. The contents of the folder were simple. There was a text document, a video file, and several audio clips. Each team member was assigned a specific file to search. The following is a description of these files. One of you
Hey,
want to take over?
Where are we?
There were 5 audio clips.
There were 5 audio clips. Were titled by the numbers 1 through 4. Imaginative. They were compilations of odd sounds stringed together with static, each about 30 seconds long, with about 10 seconds at the end of just white noise. Yeah, that really sounds like something necessary for an investigation. The sounds plays were distorted, reversed, and very choppy, again because nothing of good quality can be scurry. Distinct screams could be heard among the static, as well as random piano chords, a mumbled voice, and glass breaking. The investigators found nothing of importance in these files. They tried distorting the audio in every way they could, but in the end, found no clues. One member, however, was very persistent with the audio clips. He was ultimately fired for wasting their time. The member assigned to file number 3, Steve Knowlton, was a retired professor who taught computer science and programming classes at Stanford. Of course he was, because that's what you go from professor at Stanford to criminal investigation.
Solve murder.
Tis a natural leap.
supernatural murder.
He was very interested in file number 3, and he knew that there was something hidden in the audio. For days, he listened to the clip over and over again during lunch. Fellow team members said that every day he seemed to get more and more intimate with that clip.
I'm
Oh, God.
sorry, what?
There are better ways to word that. They tried to get Steve to stop listening and get some work done, but he never acknowledged them. Ultimately, he was fired. Knowlton had told his team members that he had been listening to the clip overnight while he slept, saying that there were hidden voices in the sound clip, and in order to hear them, you had to listen to it constantly. No one believed him. After the first week, well, if it's important to a criminal investigation, they kind of have to. After the first week, he started to not only listen to the clip while he slept, but throughout the day as well. File number 3 was playing in his ears 24/7. After about a week of this constant listening, Steve started to act very strange, and one day, news came to the team that he had died during the night.
Okay, he started to act strange. I think he was starting to act strange when he was getting intimate with a sound file.
And what he was listening to wasn't actually his Palpy at all. It
Dexter
was
knows how
Just
to
Everyday
act.
Bro by Jake Paul.
Dexter knows how to act more inconspicuous than this guy.
They Bro was like foul number 3. It's in story, just read between the lines. Foul number 3. At me, I am correct. Okay, joke over.
After Steve's death, the rest of the team worked harder than ever uncovering this case. They started to focus next on a video file. Why is there a comma there? It was simply titled behind you.avi. The clip is roughly 25 seconds long. Seen in the clip is what appears to be a woman typing at her computer, filmed from behind. Nothing can be heard. The camera inches closer towards the woman. The screen in front of her is flashing black and white as if there were a strobe, brainwashing her as she stares lifeless at the monitor. Thought she was typing.
Yeah.
As the camera is almost all the way into her hair, the video freezes. Suddenly, the woman turns around. Her face is covered in blood. Oh, of course. A piercing scream is heard blaring through the speakers. Her eyes are gone black. Scratches and bruises cover her face and ears. She opens her mouth as the sounds reverse into a loop. The video ends. Okay, I kind of wasn't paying attention in the beginning because, I don't know, this was just kind of boring. So, is there anything to suggest that this is paranormal or anything? Or because this just seems like the police would find this and be like, oh, this is someone's amateur movie bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, and so far, no, there has been nothing to imply it's paranormal.
Cool. So they're
One
just
more
all
thing about the
wasting their
story is that these
time.
people used Windows ME in 2003. You guys.
Fuck Windows ME.
Like Windows Mistake Edition.
Ha!
That Because the whole name of Windows ME is Windows Millennial Edition. It should be called Mistake Edition.
I get it. I dig it.
A funny joke.
As soon as the video was played to the group, there was silence. Everyone was mortified, not knowing what to think. Then, out of nowhere, one member got out of his chair and started yelling as loudly as he could, words that couldn't be made out. It was if he was speaking another language. This added to everyone's existing fear.
Speaking French.
The member, Alan
French
Mercy, was
cringe.
scratching his eyes out on the floor, screaming in what seemed to be a demonic tone. No one tried to intervene as they were all too stunned. They all just watched as Alan Mercy mutilated himself on the floor, yelling nonsensical phrases. They're all, this is homicide. They're cops and detectives here, and none of them have, with all the training they've gone through, none of them thought, oh, I can help stop Alan from what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trained to handle these kind of situations.
And also, like, the idea that that crappy video was enough to make this guy just, like, freak out and kill himself. It's like, no. These people, like, I realize that the teenager who's probably writing this thinks like, oh, they've seen some shit. They know darkness. No, these investigators have seen shit that would make you puke your guts out from terror. They've handled a lot worse.
Handled Windows ME.
Yeah.
They all watched as their friend was brainwashed into suicide, and on all of their faces there was a smile.
Oh my god.
When the police interviewed each remaining team member, they each had the same reply as to what happened. I don't remember.
Oh, fuck off.
Also, if one of them was brainwashed into suicide from watching the thing, why weren't they all?
Like, I don't like this Alan
Oh.
guy. Gonna brainwash him and just him.
It was through the interrogation of the video that police
more like Windows blister than blisters. Ja, okay, my joke's done.
It was through the interrogation of the video that police discovered how Steve Knowlton had actually died. It was after the first week that Steve started showing very odd behavior. He became very secluded, not talking to anyone during the day. He lived alone in his apartment, so no one knows what his life was like at home. If anyone tried to talk to him, he would either ignore them completely or shout angrily at them. On one occasion, a team member tried to talk to Steve and asked him why he was acting so strange. Steve lunged out at him, scratching at his eyes and face. He would have immediately been fired.
Yeah. He would have been fired or at least brought up on disciplinary action just for like yelling at people and snapping at them all the time.
He would have been fired or at least talked to from not getting anything done and just listening to something over and over again.
Yeah.
The team escorted Steve to his home, drugging him heavily. They are not qualified to do that. The whole team was shocked by the event, but were even more frightened by the news the next morning. Steve Knowlton was found dead in his apartment. The corpse, sitting upright in his computer, was covered in gashes and scars. Police dismissed the case as suicide, but the whole team knew that Steve's death was related to the previous murders. No one touched the audio files after that. No connection was... So, these are police. Fucking idiot. The text file was one of the last files to be examined by the group. At that point, most members had quit the team due to mental illnesses. Only 4 members remained, and they were all terrified of what lay in the text and image files. Greg Brower was one of the remaining 4, both opening the text file titled gone.txt. Brower opted out. He eventually quit the team that day and never saw the contents of gone.txt. Brower went home to his family, still experiencing faint signs of depression. His family members reported him being very angry in his returning days home and said he wanted to be alone most of the time. On October 17, 2003, the 3 remaining members of the investigation team were all found dead in their office. The walls were riddled with blood, the computers were destroyed, and their corpses were mangled on top of each other. The tips of their fingers had all been worn away. Their faces were covered in gashes. To this day, investigators still don't know the contents of the text image or the final audio file. Since the original investigation in 2003, only 4 deaths have been affiliated with the files. The torrent containing the folder was apparently taken down from me. I don't care. Police have stopped trying to get the files erased from the internet for now. They just hope they are long gone and forgotten. Well, that was
really dumb.
That was poor. Not the dumb. I still think binary DNA is probably the dumbest we've read.
Yeah. I don't think anything's going to top that, at least not for a while.
Not this episode. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think we should probably end it here. I'm getting hungry, and Eli keeps scratching at my door.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't take more of this right now. Alright, so
we'll start off next episode whenever we decide to do that with Servine Birth.
Oh my god.
Doesn't that sound fun?
So thanks for joining us today, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see Wednesday for dramatic reading.
And, you know how that one... Sorry to interrupt, but you know how that one... I don't even remember which one it was, kept mentioning the grifter?
Yeah.
That's in here.
Oh my god, there it is.
Maybe we'll read that one first.
Yeah, let's start off with that one next time. I'm really not looking something titled Servine Birth.
Oh, I look forward to it.
That's yeah. We'll see you Wednesday for dramatic reading, and then Thursday for Empress Teresa. Which we'll get to see what happens after Teresa commits the biggest act of mass murder in history.
And maybe we can try to get more of these done. Maybe not every week because 2 is already a lot. Maybe every other week. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, so we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Same beam time, same beam channel.